Anyone else here seen Knock Knock? Keanu Reeves, Ana de Armas, and the worst threesome since The Human Centipede? I jest, but that film was my chaotic intro into Ana de Armas, and somehow years later, her and Keanu Reeves are back together, this time in Ballerina. It's set between John Wick 3 and 4 and stars Ana de Armas as the lead, where we watch her kick butt for 2 hours in the style of John Wick. You gotta think of Ballerina as a DLC if you're a gamer, an extra story to play through a different character, and this film explores the world of John Wick a little bit more, and it works. Compared to the TV show they created, which I think no one has seen, but just like Furiosa, it's another one of those timeless fables that gets regurgitated every so often. The hard part is being able to tell a story that is coherent enough. The acting has to be solid, especially your main lead. Fight scenes need to bring something different to the table, and the directing has to be strong. Unfortunately, not all boxes can be ticked for Ballerina, but let me start with things that I did like, and that's Ana de Armas.
I've done a few films with her.
I haven't seen all her films, but she's strong in Knives Out and that Marilyn Monroe film where she got nominated for an Oscar. And you know what? She was pretty decent as the wife of Joel Kinnaman in that terrible film called The Informer. She also kicks a lot of butt in No Time to Die, which is probably how she snagged the lead in Ballerina, with the studio hoping to spawn a new bunch of films within the world of John Wick. And her performance in Ballerina is strong. She has screen presence. The only time I looked away was when she got her feet out, and oh my days, oi, 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 absolutely brutal.
Tend to your wounds before you get sepsis. We have to cut off your feet.
Eve is a ballerina in training to be an assassin, but by the Roscoe Roma. She's very wounded and in a lot of pain and confusion because of something that happened when she was a child, when she saw some, men killing her dad. And that was something that she never got an answer about, and that was just like, it stuck with her. Then as soon as she gets the first clue that would lead her to the man who did this to her father, she's just laser focused on finding these people and just seek revenge.
Her fight scenes were also cool, very well choreographed, and felt fresh and entertaining. Compared to Atomic Blonde, for instance, which did feel a bit long in the tooth with those one shots for fight scenes. Instead here it's fast-paced, frenetic, and creative, especially the scene where she gets to use the grenades.
It was so great. It was just badass.
And the flamethrower part, which was also a lot of fun.
It was just badass.
She tried as best she could with what was presented to us in terms of the story, and I can't fault Ana in this film. She really has come a long way from Knock Knock, where she literally was learning English on the job. John Wick features in this film a couple of times.
Oh, just having John Wick himself coming in the film, so yeah, that's really exciting.
The first scene with him is hilarious, which was filmed again to show John Wick 3 from Ballerina's perspective.
How do I get out of here?
The front door is unlocked.
By the way, these two starred in a film called Exposed that probably nobody has seen.
I've done a few films with her.
Now, having Keanu Reeves reprise his role was a smart choice and allows this film to easily slot into the franchise, a bit like Black Widow, but in a way that didn't feel forced. And Ballerina is a much better film than Black Widow when you compare them as these standalone movies that get conveniently placed into an already established franchise. Keanu Reeves' dialogue is again quite minimal and generally awkward. Classic Keanu Reeves, but it works. That's his USP.
That door will lock sooner than you think. You can still leave. You still have a choice.
It was nice to see my guy from Oz, the late Mr. Lance Reddick. Absolute shame we'll never see him in a film again. Lovejoy was decent, along with the head witch.
Are you finished?
But honestly, I don't think there was much more I liked. I guess this is where I go into the bad bits, and it starts with Gabriel Byrne, who was wasted in this role of the bad guy. He didn't really feel like he caused a threat. Just spoke too much. He was a bit of a crap character. Same as his son, played by Daryl from The Walking Dead.
He's kind of got the same thing as Eve has in a way. They're going up against everybody, her for one reason, him for another reason.
Everything he's in, it just feels like he's the guy who shoots zombies with arrows.
So I saw him really as a protective father, just badass, kick-ass assassin. but the person is a protective father.
Maybe he hasn't taken up a role that suits his abilities, or I just can't see beyond The Walking Dead. And some of this plot was stupid. There's a part where we find out Eve has a sister, which is foreshadowed earlier in the movie, but it felt very Boy World. You know that film that came out with Pennywise? No? Alright, that's fair enough. I'm sure it did fall through the cracks. Actually, I did enjoy it when Ana de Armas ends up in this town run by Gabriel. He's called the commissioner in this film, but the town is filled with people trained to kill.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
And Armas has to fight her way out of it. That leads to the main boss fight with the flamethrowers, but the absurdity of some of the plot, like the ballerina going on the first mission with rubber bullets, just didn't make much sense to me. There's this mission where Eve has to go out to protect some girl from thugs. I'm thinking, why is she only using rubber bullets? So what? The mum from the Addams family doesn't believe in killing or something stupid like that, so she only lets her soldiers injure other people and not excommunicate them. Like, what is this film? Assassin's Creed Pacifist Edition? I feel like that whole set piece should have been cut from the film altogether. And the absurdity with some of the fight scenes though, they can't be overlooked either. For example, the flamethrower versus the water was something out of an anime. It was funny, creative, but also just a bit dumb as well. And these repeated slow-mo shots, they were just cringe.
When Len and the guys came to us about, we want to do this in an alpine village, we're like, well, this makes sense to try to put it in. And we did some tests to make sure that we could do it safely. And after the test, we're like, okay, great. We did our fire hose and we did our flamethrower. And the result was, in person with no digital enhancement was very impressive. So we thought that would be a good third act.
Now the director, Len Wiseman. He's been around Hollywood for decades, probably best known for his Underworld movies with Kate Beckinsale.
I had seen some of his Underworld films and really appreciated those.
He also directed the remake of Total Recall and Live Free or Die Hard. He has an imprint on action films, but fundamentally, for me, he's a B-movie director.
He's just so experienced in these kind of films, and he's so talented, and he's also very playful, and he has great sense of humor. So all of that you can see. I just had a great time with him. He's just someone very easy to work with.
I can't see him making a film over 3 stars as he has limitations, and it generally has to do with weak screenplays, but I have to give him props for creating Underworld and its 5 movies. That gave him a platform to build a career in directing, but he's no Luc Besson when you think of semi-decent movies with women wielding guns like Lucy. Can I see this film getting a sequel? Yes, but only if it's financially successful at the box office. However, do we really need another sequel or another addition to this franchise? I want more original films like Sinners. Why do we have to have these movies be related in some way? Star Wars franchise, look at their 9 movies, 6 TV shows or remakes.
I love the script, I love the story, I love the character. I was a big fan of the John Wick franchise and of Keanu, of course.
I have to say though, Ballerina is entertaining enough and should be seen on the big screen.
It is definitely a movie for theaters.
But it did feel cheap at points. For instance, the credits start and the music is tacky, the font chosen was a bit basic, and the visuals didn't really work for me. Ended up leaving the theatre with a bitter taste in my mouth, so to speak.
You just made everything a whole lot worse.
Although this film is better than the similar feeling Red Sparrow, which has a Russian ballet turned assassin. That movie made 150 million worldwide, so I guess there's a benchmark. But what do you reckon? Does Anna deserve a sequel, or should we let this ballerina take her final bow?
I mean, you've met the character before in episode 3 of Ballet School, and now you get her backstory. And they cleverly put it between 3 and 4. So whatever they choose to do next, it can be Ballerina 3 or it can be John Wick 5 if Keanu feels up to it, whatever they want to do,